Hello, 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 everyone out in Black Doctor Land. Nicole Barbers Jones here, excited to always be here with you for Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursdays. Those of you that haven't met me yet, let me introduce myself. I am known as the Bankroll Your Brilliance expert. And so every Thursday, we are here 12 p.m. EST to do three things. Number one, to make sure you're clear on what your brilliance is. See, you have to understand that God created you so special that there's an arena that He created you to dwell in. And so you've got to know what that arena is and the breeze that's tied to it. The second is the value that comes with it. And this value by itself, by the way, is a loaded whole conversation. And the third area is how do you create multiple streams of revenue from it? And so as I come here every week, we talk about one of those three critical areas. So today it's me and you. I'm going to pour into you. So, I'm here every week. But once a month, I am here instead of bringing in a guest so that I can train you and teach you and give you more insight. So today our conversation is the 5 reasons why you have not been able to bankroll your brands. The 5 things that are in your way, the 5 things that could hinder you. Those of you that seek to start or have already started your purpose-focused business. Now, before I go in, come on in, tell me name and where you're joining from. Those of you that are here with me every week, I'm looking at my iPad when I'm looking to the side, looking for your comments. As I say every week, don't come in this house and not speak. That's what my grandmother would say if she was here. Baby, don't come in this house and not speak, right? So I'm saying that to you. So even if you're watching a replay, come on in, tell me name, tell me where you're joining from. And as I share these 5 steps, these 5 reasons, these 5 things that could or already are in your way, take a moment to assess where you are. If you have questions about these 5, then ask me. Now, I've written them down so I can stay focused because I'm always here and committed to be here for 30 minutes, right? So I see y'all are coming in. Good morning, Melissa. See, I'm glad somebody in Brisbane. All right. What time is it there? Hey, Christine in Lithonia, Georgia. Welcome, welcome. Come on in, y'all. Come on in, come on in. So with that said, you ready? Got a pen and a paper? So the first reason you have not been able to bankroll your brands, and by the way, let me stop for a second. When I'm talking about bankroll your brands, when you start a purpose-focused business, I'm talking about a business based on your authority, on your expertise. Good morning, Deborah in Virginia, and I'm Dr. Andrea. Tell everybody where you are. You've got to know that there are certain key things that can help you and hinder your growth. Now, I don't know if you realize that Forbes actually wrote an article. This was right before the COVID. I sound like my grandmother. Before COVID. Well, I feel honored, Melissa, that you're here and it's 2 a.m., right? You can't sleep. Well, hopefully, I'll give you some great reason that you're up. So, listen, Forbes said that the expert industry is slated to go over $2 billion. Now, many of you don't think you're an expert, but I need you to understand that you have expertise. You have know how. There's many of you, whether you've been in your industry for 10, 15, 20 years, whether you have a natural propensity for some things, which is not a coincidence. God knew what He was doing when He created you. And so that natural propensity that you're good at certain things and people call you want to pick your brain around certain things is because that's the way God wired you. It's a way He put you here on assignment. And it's also the very way that you are meant to live abundantly. I can go all into that. So, with that insight, is why I'm passionate about what I teach, which is why when blackdoctor.org asked me to do a weekly segment, I said yes, because I'm committed that you get everything you need to move it forward. So, these segments, I give you great insight, but you need insight and strategy. So, those of you that are ready for the strategy, I have a gift for you. So, hang tight to the end. I'll tell you what that gift is. But I want you to assess where you are in your journey. Again, whether you haven't started yet, or because these would be the 5 reasons why, one of them, why you haven't started, or you've been in business, but you haven't yet made predictable revenue, meaning that you know month over month, quarter over quarter, what to expect and where the money's coming from, and now you're not guessing. You ready? I love it, y'all. Hey, oh, Dr. Andrews in Upper Darby. Where's that in Philadelphia? In Pennsylvania, by saying Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. All right, y'all. So with that, number one of the 5. Now, I want you to tell me where you're in all 5, what number you're in. Share. And then if you have a question, tell me, all right? So the first reason is you're not standing in what I call the power of your one. So here is the thing. Many people know that they have purpose, but they're vague around what their purpose is. So you've got to niche it out. Let me tell you why I'm saying that. Ooh, Deborah said it. Yep. Our gift and expertise is easy, so we think everyone can do what you do. That's really true. And guess what? There are other people that do what you do, but nobody does it like you. Listen, just like there's a liquor store on every corner. Anyway, I'm from South Central LA. But there's that one liquor store you enjoy. Because they had a candy you like, maybe you like the cashier, whatever that is, that resonates with you. Or some neighborhoods there's a church on every corner. But that pastor resonates with you, so you go to that church. It's the same one with your gift. See, I'm clear that when God puts a gift in you, He also gives you personality that's in alignment with that gift. Those two things go together to make your secret sauce. But once you understand what you're gifted at, you've got to understand the niche it serves in. So when people say stuff like, I am a business coach, that's so vague. I'm a health coach. There's so many avenues that health could go down. So you've got to be able to speak. Deborah said, preach, Dr. Nicole, girl, I appreciate you. Look, I ain't a doctor yet. Look, we're going to name it and claim that. But listen, you need to get very specific. So I have a client that had been saying for years that she was a health coach and her business was not doing well. So there's an assessment I walk all my clients through and ask them questions and do a little bit of work. And listen, she came back and said, I realize that what I do is I coach women on how to get their sexy back. Doesn't that sound totally different than a health coach? So you've got to understand that there's a power of one. I think when I often talk to highly skilled professionals that I get to coach, and I really say you've got to figure out the one, they think they're leaving people out. You're not. Because a confused mind does not buy. A confused mind does not buy. So if people are confused by the transformation you can help them get to, they're not buying from you. They're not enrolling with you. They're not going to let you serve them. So if you're not clear, they won't be clear that you're their answer. And we try to be everything to everybody. That means you're nothing to no one, which leads me to number two. The second reason that your business is not, or I haven't been able to bankroll your brands, or your business is not successful, I can say it either way. The second reason is you're trying to serve everyone. So one, you don't know your niche, but then you're trying to be everything to everybody. And listen, if you were going to be everybody's answer, God would have put you down here solo as the only coach, only consultant that there is, point blank, period. Just like if it's only meant to be one dentist for everybody, there only be one dentist. And we'd all have to fly to go to that dentist. And I think the biggest disservice I see so many people do when they're starting a business is they just try to be too many things. And so you've got to understand that your gift is the answer to somebody's problem. And every day that you're not clear and uncompromising, you're holding up somebody's answered prayer. So, and I should have had it in here, right on the back of my notes. See, let me see if you can see this. It's almost like I always say this to my clients. It's like a target, right? So you got to know who your target market is. And see if you guys can see this in my drawing real quick. Can y'all see that target? Right? So if I had a bow and arrow and I was aiming at the target, wouldn't I only aim at the middle, right? And see what happens is when you have a target and you have a bow and arrow, right? If I don't aim, by the way, if I aimed at the middle, because I'm not a good arrow, whatever thrower, whatever. I'm not gonna hit the middle. I might hit the second ring. I might hit the third ring. But if I don't aim at the middle, what happens? I probably will miss the target altogether. Y'all get that? So why am I sharing that with you? Because when you have a target market, and say you have two other markets that are a good fit, like my ideal client, my target is a woman. The second is men. The third is corporations. Listen, I really help people start businesses, but every now and then a corporation will call me and ask me, can I do a workshop around being in alignment with their role at work? Well, yes, I can teach that too. But I don't speak to that because then people are confused with who I am. The brand called me. So I aim fully and completely at highly skilled professionals. I'm clear and uncompromising. My question to you is, are you clear and uncompromising? And by the way, you need number one, number two. They all feed into each other, y'all. So if you're messing with number one, then number two is not going to work as well. If you don't have number two, then three is not going to work. Hey, Renata, my client. I love when I see my girls here, right? I'm going to try to get this. Okay, so again, number one is you're not studying the power of the one thing God created you to do, your niche, your secret sauce. Number two, you're trying to serve everyone When God didn't create you to serve everyone, there's a group of people waiting for you. Do you know who that group is? And are you talking directly to them? The third is nobody knows you exist. This one is such a funny conversation. So many highly professional people that I get to serve don't want, like my grandmother say, don't want to put their business in the street. Matter of fact, I was speaking at an event, must have been about 3 or 4 years ago. It was a Massachusetts Black Lawyers Association. It was their annual event. I was a keynote speaker, and I talked about visibility. And I'll tell you why I call it visibility and not marketing in a second. And when I talked about, one of the women asked me about growing her practice. And I talked about having visibility strategy. And she said, and I quote, I don't want my business to be in the street. Oh, but you want your business to grow, but you don't want to be seen out in the marketing streets, in these social media streets. How do you think your business is going to grow if nobody knows you exist? God gave you the gift. He's done. The rest is up to you. What will you do with what God gave you? And it's not about being and doing whatever you see everybody else does. Like, can I be honest with y'all? I am so over all the TikTok videos that people point and point and point. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Mostly because I see everybody else doing it. And I never want to do what I see other people do. I want to do only what's in alignment with my ideal client. I don't think a highly skilled professional could care less about the points. And maybe I'll do, I don't know. But the point I'm making is this: you've got to have visibility strategy that speaks to who your ideal client is so they see you as their answer. And you've got to be able to speak in that niche. Y'all see how this all relates? So I call it visibility rather than marketing because I see so many people buy these marketing like cookie cutter scripts or drop and drag, and all of that is not going to fit into your DNA, your distinct natural ability. Going back to the power of one, you got to be clear on what is that thing you do and who you be. So things that are intrinsic to me, my eyelashes falling in my eye, right? That certain things just aren't in alignment with who I be. And you got to know that. That's why, by the way, the second critical area we talk about here in Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursdays is a value tied to it. Because if you don't know your values, trust me, nobody else will. That's a conversation around dating as well. I'm just saying. When you're dating, if you don't know your values, how will the person that's dating you know your values? Well, listen, that's what I actually call marketing dating in your business because you're dating your ideal client. Some of y'all, we've been on the first date, the second date, the third date. Many of you, this is your first date watching today. Because see, what happens is when people are looking for certain things that they need in their life or their business, they're shopping for who can fill that need. And when they're shopping for who can fill that need, they're looking to see if the person is a good fit. Just like when you go into Nordstrom and you buy those favorite pair of shoes, or maybe that's not you. Maybe I'm talking to myself. I don't care how bad those shoes are. If I put them on and they hurt, I need to put them back on the shelf. Or they could be really, really cute shoes, but they're not in alignment with my style. I don't need to buy them. That's why people are dating you before they put a ring on it. See, when you begin, and like Renata's my client, Renata put a ring on it. She's working with me, right? So she's invested at the level to which she wants to see the return. So when you get engaged and then you get married, that's an investment that we're going to make this relationship work. That's what a good coach will do. Renata said, yes, I dated you for years before I felt comfortable and ready to work with you. I wanted to make sure I resonated with you. Right. And everybody gets to comfortability, is that a word? At different times. There's some people that watch me one time say yes. Some people watch me for a couple of years, and I'm sharing it because the same thing is going to happen with you, right? But you've got to allow people to experience you so they can see you and see if you're a good fit. You get that, y'all? So what was number one? Who remembers number one? You got to stand in the power of your one, your niche, your secret sauce. You got to make sure you know what your niche is. See, it's from that niche that you'll begin to see who is your ideal client, number two, because you're not everybody's answer. Number three, you got to allow people to see that you exist and build your know, like, and trust factor. By the way, this is what I call the Oprah effect. The reason why many of us love us some Oprah, and I can't speak for everybody don't love Oprah, but I would say a lot of people do, is because she allowed us to see her, to really see her. And so you've got to be willing to do the same thing in your business. This helping y'all resonate with you? Again, tell me if you have questions in these areas. Tell me where you might feel like you are in deficit. So you know you need number one to do number two. You need number two to do number three. You need number three to do number four. You have no clear strategy. The number of people that I meet when I begin to coach them and they're doing whatever, whenever, however. Mm-mm. Remember at the beginning, I said if you're not making predictable revenue, the number one reason you're not making predictable revenue is because you have no strategy. And doing this free webinar over here and then taking this strategy, then doing this free webinar over here and taking this strategy just does not always go together. I had to learn this the hard way. How many of you guys have a free notebook? That was me. I had one too. And I can tell you the number of years I failed because all I was willing to do was go to everything for free. It wasn't until I invested in a coach that could then see all of me end to end that could then give me strategy. Because God did not use a cookie cutter when He created you. So, what makes you think you're going to take a cookie cutter and put it in your brilliance and it's going to equate a successful business? No, ma'am. No, sir. Not going to happen. But that's what happens. All this free is cookie cutter. And can I be honest with you? Most of the free stuff you get is telling you what, but it never teaches you how. So how will you create the strategy? How will you move your business, your brilliance, your gift forward without strategy? It's interesting. I was listening to, and I listened to so many sermons. I don't remember who said this. TD Jakes, somebody, I don't remember. That God will give you the vision, right? But what many people don't realize is in order to move the vision forward, you need methodology, which is strategy, and you need revelation. You need both. What happens is, and so many people, listen, I remember one year, this must have been about 4 or 5 years ago, I was on one of these Facebook Lives, and a woman said she was praying about, I appreciate you, Deborah. A woman said, let me see so you guys can see what she said, right? I appreciate you, Deborah. So listen, a woman said she had been praying about whether she should work with me or not. And it didn't bother me that she was praying about it. Oh, T. Jake said that. Thank you. I appreciate you. It didn't bother me that she was praying about it. That she was, thinking about working with me. What bothered me is that she said she was praying about it because I'm like, well, and then it bothered me that bothered me. So I prayed about it. I know that sounds crazy, right? She was saying praying about it. That bothered me. She said that. So I prayed about the fact that I was bothered. And here's what God said back to me. She's waiting on me and I am waiting on her. See, what happens is God invests gifts and talents in you. He's done. He did his part. But he also gives us free will. So it's up to you to do the work it takes to move it forward. That's the methodology. And then in the middle of you doing the work, in the middle of you doing the work is when revelation comes and you having your Jesus time and sitting in quiet contemplation. Listen, sometimes when I'm in the middle of something, God just drops something. Sometimes when I'm on these lives with you guys, after I've written out what I believe, He wants me to share because I pray about everything I teach. Yes, Deborah, faith without works is dead, right? Sometimes He still will drop something different while I'm teaching you. And the only reason why I can hear it is because I sit in my Jesus time. So you need to get with someone that can teach you and help you create strategy. You cannot create your own strategy. You cannot. Because listen, the tools you use on this level are not sufficient for your next. That's a Bishop A.R. Bernard quote. Again, the tools you use on this level are not sufficient for your next. So if you're going to get to the next level of you, not to the level you're already at, your resume, your bio is done. I'm not talking about that version of you. I'm talking about the version of you that you have not yet become. To get to that version of you, you're going to need new tools. That's the strategy. Y'all get that? And if you could do it, you would already be at that level. And then again, there'd be another level for you to climb. How do I know that? Because that's how God works. I often call it God's matriculation system. See, I think we have a purpose matriculation system, right? So it's like when we were in school. You guys remember this? We started kindergarten, then we went to first grade, and then we went to junior high, and then high school, and then if you went to college, and there's matriculation through college too. Well, in the same vein, God has a purpose matriculation system that we go through. The difference is in education, we know that when we finish first grade, we're going to second, and then second and third. We know where we're going, but in purpose, that's where faith gets activated. Because God doesn't show you, all He does is says, trust me. And when you take the step to go to the next, it's in the middle of that God will then show you the next. As Deborah wrote a few minutes ago, faith without works is dead. So you can't just have faith and not do any works. You've got to trust him and you got to do the work. I can go on a whole conversation just about submission. Now, I'm gonna tell you, usually when I hear the word submission, I'm like, because I'm a type A kind of woman, and I'm like, submit, and I am married. But submission means under the mission. So if my husband and I in alignment, we're under the same mission. Well, listen, when I submit to God, I'm under God's mission for my life. And God will do exceedingly abundantly above all I could ever ask or think. But He won't do that if you won't get the methodology and you won't listen for the revelation. Come on, somebody. You need both. You can't get to the next level one without the other. And I see so many people that literally piecemeal their business together from all this free stuff. No, ma'am, no, sir, it's not gonna work. How do I know? I tried it. Took me 17 years to get it. And then to be honest with you, those of you that I'm blessed to coach and teach, I feel like I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars so you don't have to. I spent years to get my master's degree and then get my advanced MBA degree and then going through all these different trainings. I appreciate you, Melissa. So that I could be the catalyst for what many of you need because many of you are doing number 5. You ready? Our fifth reason, y'all. Our fifth reason is many of you are interested and not committed. See, interested means, if it's easy, I want overnight success. I'm not going to do the hard thing. I'm interested in it. But committed means no matter what, I am going after it. I'm focused, I'm determined. I'm going to be all of what God has for me, right? And so I want you to really realize when you're committed, you do whatever it takes to go after living as the highest and best version of who God created you to be. Because ultimately, you know that you growing your gift is going to bless all the people that are waiting for you. See, when you're committed, you don't give up. When you're committed, you don't look for the easy. When you're committed, you know there's no such thing as overnight success. That it takes seed time and harvest, that you got to pour in and pour in and pour in. And I call it going through see nothing days, where if you guys plant something, you water it and water it and water it and water it. It takes a while for it to come out of the ground. Oh, but if you wait, but if you stay committed, it comes out of the ground. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I said, we appreciate you pouring into us and seeing us to the end. As long as we're committed and want to stay the course, you're an awesome servant. I appreciate you, Renata, as one of my clients. So listen, because listen, when I get to work with you, your business may be your baby, but now I'm auntie. And auntie's like, what you doing to my baby? So listen, I want y'all to get this. So if any of this sounds like you, I want you to know you're interested and not committed. If you say things like, I don't have enough time, you're being in the interested place and not committed. Because when you're committed, you're gonna figure it out. Listen, I remember when I started my business, I had 2 daytime jobs to pay for my nighttime calling when I started after it was going for a while, right? I had to take two daytime jobs because I needed to eat. And when you first start your business, listen, it takes a good 12 to 18 months to get your business where it's generating revenue. And then it may not be predictable yet. If you're setting up the right way, see, there is something called overnight success, and you will maybe make 20,000 in 20 days, like people say. But then what happens after the next 20 and the next 20 and the next 20? That's called piecemeal. No, ma'am. No, sir. No. If you want long term sustainable success, you want it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. Number 2, I don't have enough money. Baby, sweetheart, darling. Listen, God never gives you a vision checking your bank account. He's not checking how much money you have. He's checking your faith. Listen, I remember when I hired my very first coach, she cost 30,000. My business was only generating 13,000 at the time. Could I afford it? No, but I couldn't afford not to do it. Had I not invested in that then, I wouldn't be here now. And the coaches I pay for now are more than that. I'm just saying. But the point I'm making is you've got to invest at the level to which you want to see the return. Again, seed time and harvest. So if I'm going to see my seeds grow, I've got to invest in the harvest to allow it to grow. That's called committed. Interested means when it's hard, I'm out. That's like being in a relationship. When hard things come, that's like being a parent. When hard things come, you don't give up on your child. You don't give up on your marriage. That's a part of being in a relationship. Well, welcome. That's a part of being a CEO as well. If you're following under God's mission, you don't give up. Michelle says, what a word. God certainly provides when he sees your commitment and work. Yes, he'll show up in the middle of it, but he won't show up until you, as my husband says, put some skin in on the game. You got to put some skin in. He already listened. He already deposited the gift. He's like, what you going to do with it? Let me wait and see what you going to do. And then he shows up and shows out. Listen, I've seen God do things like, again, Ephesians 3:20. Go look it up. It says, abundantly above all you could ask or think. If it's bigger than what you can ask or think, then as my auntie always says, stop limiting God's ability to bless you. But we do that when we look at what we can only see and we don't trust him for what we can't see. Hebrews 11:1 says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So your faith doesn't get activated until you're in the face of fear, which is the next one. You let fear stop you. And when God is calling you to play bigger than you have played before, I love sharing this as an example. Those that have been here with me for multiple episodes, you heard me share this example. Ayana Van Zandt, I was blessed to be on a mastermind call. She was our teacher, and she said, and I quote, if you don't feel like you need to pee on yourself sometimes, you ain't playing big enough. That's because you're scared. And see, I believe God puts us in situations so all we can do is trust him. But what happens is when you've gotten to a level of success and you kind of are autopilot and you kind of been coasting and you know, ooh, if I want to do this, all I need to do is this. Well, God's always going to give you a bigger dream than you can ever dream for yourself. Again, abundantly above all you can ask a thing, which means all the stuff that you can figure out, yeah, ain't going to work. Are you interested or committed? When I look at people like Oprah, one of my silent mentors who I haven't met yet, naming it and claiming it, when she started her network, now listen, Oprah had a successful TV show for 25 years, 25. And I'm sure she must have felt a rumble like this is over and it's time for me to do a network. Okay. That sounds like it's easy for somebody like Oprah, but it wasn't. Y'all realize that the OWN network failed for the first 5 years. It bombed. It was horrible. Nobody was watching OWN. It was in the lowest of the 5 lowest networks. Now that's $1 million mistake. Hundreds of $1 million mistake. That ain't no easy, $13,000 mistake like I was making. Millions of dollars. And I'm sure Oprah's friends were saying, girl, go back and do your TV show. Girl, you should go back to the Oprah show. You know, we miss it anyway. She wasn't interested. She was committed to her network. She was committed to whatever God dropped in her spirit that made her want to start a network in the first place. And baby, can I tell you, OWN is my favorite network now. My husband calls it the new BET, but whatever. Another person I think about difference between interested and committed is Beyonce. I think many of us forget that when Destiny's Child first came out, 2 members left. And all the rumors and innuendo that went around when those members left. Y'all remember that? News articles and all kind of stuff that would have made many people quit. But Beyonce, and I haven't met her yet. Another person I'm naming and claiming it. Listen, but she wrote the song Survivor out of that. Go read the lyrics. If you listen to the song, listen to the lyrics. And she says, I'm a survivor. I'm going to make it. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to work harder. Committed. See, interested would have had her quit in that moment. And look at Beyonce now. Look at how much she's grown. And even as I watch her career, if that wasn't enough, then she went solo. And that was scary too. That's when Sasha Fierce came out. She had to create an alter ego to stand in the full power of her gift. Y'all get that? And then even after that, she's done Lemonade and Coachella, and she keeps outdoing herself, new levels, growing her gift, challenging her gift. And I believe that level of brilliance, that level of blessing, that level of everything is not just limited to Oprah or Beyonce or Tyler Perry. I go on and on. It's available to all of us, but you've got to be committed. You've got to be committed. So those of you that are saying, Nicole, this is all great, but I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to move it forward. Listen, I have a gift for you. So I'm doing something starting on Sunday night, 7 p.m. EST, called the Bankroll Your Brilliance Challenge. I'm going to show a quick commercial, more about it. And then I'll come back and I'll wrap up everything we shared in a bow. And yeah, so hang tight. Check this out. Are you a highly skilled professional and you've been seeking a path to advance your purpose? Yes, you may already be successful in your current career, and yet you have this desire to build a business that allows you to serve all those that God put you on this earth to serve, so that you're making a difference and making money while you do it. And maybe you don't know where to start, or maybe you've started and you haven't yet made predictable revenue. And it seems as though it's way too hard for someone who's reached your level of success to figure this out. Well, you're the exact reason I created the free 5-day Bankroll Your Brilliance Challenge. Register and learn more by going to BankrolLYourBrillianceChallenge.com. So in 5 days, I'm going to walk you through the 5 steps to live into the freedom, fulfillment, and meaning you greatly desire, all while creating multiple streams of income from what you already know. So you may have tried so many different systems, coaching groups, and programs, and yet your efforts have not given you the clarity you need to monetize your gift. And that's exactly why I'm going to walk you through how to create the strategy that clearly articulates what you do, so those that need you hear you as their answer. Oh, and they will pay you for it. Plus, I'm going to teach you my all-time favorite thing I coach my clients around, which is how to make money in your sleep. You definitely don't want to miss this. Again, register now at BankrolLYourBrillianceChallenge.com. Listen, you've been working to create someone else's billion-dollar brand when God put a billion-dollar brand in you. And all you need is the tools and strategy to go after the abundance with your name on it. I can't wait to pour it all into you. Yes, so it starts Sunday night. Again, it's the Bankroll Your Brilliance Challenge.com. And the reason I wanted to do this challenge is a couple things. So again, the 5 reasons you have not been able to bankroll your brilliance, I'm going to go through each of those 5 in so much more detail. But there's also so much more that what many people don't realize, especially when you're already doing great in your current career, and God is calling you to this new thing, you don't need to quit your daytime job. You can start your business alongside it. Matter of fact, I recommend it. You know, when I meet a lot of professionals that are telling me they're going to retire in 5 years or 10 years, and they're going to start their business then, I'm like, don't wait. Start it now. So by the time you retire, you're making more in your business than you are right now in your paycheck. So it's not hard to do your business alongside. You just need to learn it in a way that serves you, serves your family, serves your life, and allows all those that need you to be served by you. But listen, let me say this. Those of you that want to start a product-based business, I am not the coach for you. This is not the program for you. But those of you that know, like you know, people are always calling you to pick your brain, that you have this purpose rumbling in you and you don't know how to figure out what it is and where to move it forward, or you have expertise you've been getting a paycheck from. You've been building somebody else's billion-dollar brand. I just said this. And what you have to understand is God put a billion-dollar brand in you. And you just need the tools. Then I look forward to serving you starting Sunday night. Now, listen, by the way, if you guys have questions, this is the time to ask your questions, right? I'm going to put it back up here so you have it. So listen, a couple of things. If you cannot show up, so it's 5 days, 7 p.m. EST, starting Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you can't show up live, still register because the replays will be available to you. Now, in addition to the training every night, about 30 to 45 minutes, I never keep you long because I honor your time. I'm also giving you an implementation sheet every night. Because what difference does it make if I get you excited and inspired and motivated if you cannot implement anything? So I need you in the room. If you know that 2022 is your year to start or grow your business, then this is the time to get in activation. You can't wait till January. You should have already been on the runway. So this is not only the runway, but we're going to get you to take off, right? So if that's you, I look forward to serving you. Again, that's BankrolLYourBrillianceChallenge.com. So with that, those are our 5 reasons. And I want you to really identify which of these 5 are in your way or the reasons why you haven't. How much am I chatting? No, it's free. Whoever just asked that, right? So listen, I want y'all to get this. The reason even I'm doing this for free is because when my business was failing, I'm gonna tell you my whole story of starting and how to do it and all that. First of all, let me say this: La Bombaza is free, but when you ask how much you're charging, you're discounting your own gift because you've got to know there's value tied to your gift, but you've got to be willing to invest in it. There'll be times you have to invest money. There'll be times you have to invest time. There'll be times you have to invest your talent. And there are times when you got to invest all 3. So the fact that you're asking about how much money already lets me know that you're discounting what God has for you. You're discounting your ability to move your gift forward. even though this is free. But I have to say that I wouldn't be a good coach if I didn't. And at the beginning, I talked about this free notebook that I had, and I kept free and free and free and free. And so, those of you that need more at the end of the challenge, I'll show you what that more looks like. Because I'm clear, there I'm going to give you so much value, but many of you will still need more. And I'm also clear, I'm not everybody's answer. So if this is you and you're ready, you know that 2022 is your year. You're ready to live into the highest and best version of who God created you to be. Get your butt in a seat. I look forward to serving you over the next 5 days. Well, not the next, starting on Sunday. So, with that said, let me just do a quick review of the 5 areas, or the 5 reasons, I should say, that have kept you from bankrolling brilliance, from kept you from creating multiple streams of income, kept you from really being able to grow or start a revenue generating business. Number one is standing in the power of your one. You're not, listen, it's really understanding the niche, the secret sauce, and being able to speak to it when you're vague. Remember, I said a confused mind doesn't buy. The second reason, take this off. The second reason is because I want to put the comments back up so I can see. The second reason is because you're trying to serve everyone. Remember, you're not everybody's answer, but you are somebody's answer. Number three, no one knows you exist. How do people know to hire you? Listen, there's a saying, this is build it and they'll come. That's a lie. Because you can build it, and how do people know it's there for them to come? Hello, have you ever thought about that? Number four, you have no clear strategy. You can't do whatever, whenever, however, and you can't piecemeal a successful business. You also can't take all the free and think that's going to grow your business. So you want people to pay you when they hire you, but you won't pay and invest in yourself. That doesn't even make any sense, y'all. And again, you got to invest 3 things: time, talent, treasure. If your business is going to go, you can't just invest one of those. You got to invest all 3. Mhm. I'm going to show you that during Bankroll Your Brilliance Challenge too. And then last but not least, you're not committed. Committed is going to do whatever is, excuse me, interested is only going to do what's easy. Committed is going to do whatever it takes. So if you're committed, I don't want the interested people. Those of you that want the easy way, I don't want to work hard. I don't want to invest any time or talent or treasure. I don't want to put anything in on it. Don't show up to Bankroll Your Brilliance Challenge, because I'm going to walk you through how to move it forward. And it's going to take you investing time, talent, and treasure. It's going to take that. So I only want the people that are ready. Because if I'm going to pour into you and I'm taking my time and my talent to pour into you, I need you committed to moving forward. All right. So with that said, that's our conversation for today. That's Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursdays. Again, I'm here every Thursday to pour into you, because what I know for sure is there are people waiting for you. So next week, I'll be here with a guest, pouring more. And in addition, I always want to invite you to follow me on Instagram, because I give more tools and insight and strategy throughout the week. So if you're not following me on Instagram, let this be my invitation to you to also follow me on Instagram. So with that said, y'all, I look forward to serving many of you on Sunday, and I look forward to serving more of you as we get your 2022 in gear now. All right. So have a phenomenal Thursday. I'll see some of y'all on Sunday, and the rest of you I'll see next Thursday for a next episode of Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursdays. Bye, y'all.